Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Have a couple of things lined up for today. Last night I uploaded a video from Home Goods and I actually bought a pot that I really like. It's a heavy ceramic pot and lo and behold, when I looked inside it does not have a hole. Now, how many times have you found a pot that you really like but you pass it up because it's missing a hole in the bottom? Don't do that anymore. I'm going to show you how you can drill a hole in just about any pot, whether it be ceramic, glazed, clay, terracotta, you can drill a hole in it. So I'll show you that here in a few minutes. The other thing I have lined up for today is about 2 weeks ago, I put a new wreath on the front door behind us actually. I have a different wreath that I'm going to put up. It's another spring wreath. I'm going to kind of interchange them every other week, so we'll do that real quick. Then in the main gazebo area, I have two pots. One is shaded, one is not. In the shaded pot, I'm going to plant some impatiens that I picked up. And then in the pot that gets a lot of the afternoon sun, I'm going to put some daisies in that pot. So we'll get that done. And then I also want to try to get some of the desert roses out of the greenhouse today. So we'll work on that. So a lot of things lined up for the day. Let's jump in and get started. All right, so I have my diamond drill bit. You're not going to make a tennis bracelet with these diamonds, but these little diamond chips are going to drill a hole very nicely through this pot. I will put the link to these drill bits in the video, but highly recommend you get these and don't pass up pots anymore. You can drill your own holes. I just have a standard drill. This is a standard drill bit, so nothing fancy. So let's get started. Now I am going to turn the pot upside down. I recommend doing it from the bottom, but there are times that you might want to do it from the inside. But today I definitely want to do it from the outside. Now I do have a little cup of water. I'm just going to put a little pool of water. And then nothing fancy, I'm just going to drill. I do recommend starting from the side of the drill bit, just so that you can get an indent and work from that indent. Also, we're not running a race. Take your time with it. I'm going to stop and check my work here. I can see that the drill bit is making a hole. It's no longer dancing around. So that's when you can start to pick up your speed a little bit. And there we have it. There is my hole. So now I can plant whatever I want in this pot. I do recommend that when you're drilling the hole that you get it as close to the center as possible. I am a little off center, but that was okay. And then as I mentioned, always try to use the tip, the side of the drill bit first, just to get a little indentation. Sometimes I might put a piece of tape if the drill bit's dancing around a little bit too much. You could try a piece of tape, or you're just going to have to go slow at it until it breaks that first layer. And then once it breaks that first layer and you kind of have your divot in there, you can pick up the speed. Just make sure that you're not putting so much pressure on it that when it finally breaks through, that your drill and your hand really hit the bottom of the pot hard. That's more likely to break the pot than the drilling itself. So that's how to do it. Now, when drilling your holes for the first time, I might recommend that you take a pot that you really don't care about. So maybe a really cheap, inexpensive pot. Practice on it, drilling holes, get your technique down, and then you can tackle your big, more expensive pots. This was a $40 pot. I would have been really disappointed if I had shattered it, but I have experience drilling these holes, so I was pretty confident. The other thing is always make sure that your drill bits are newer. So if you find a drill bit that's been laying around the house for a couple years, that's been used a lot, probably wouldn't use it. I'd invest. These diamond drill bits are not expensive. So I would just make sure that you have a newer drill bit before you start tackling drilling holes in your pots. But all in, this is a nice way to no longer have to pass up those pots that don't have a hole. All right, so this is definitely going to be the easiest job of the day, but this is my Forsythia spring wreath. I'll talk more about it here in a second, but I'm going to go ahead and take this down. I have a more colorful one, if you can imagine that I'm going to put up, and then I'll alternate these about every other weekend just to give it a fresh look. It's very visible from the street. I get a lot of compliments on it, so let's change it out. Clearly just lifts off very easily. Let me grab the one I'm going to put up. Now this one is filled with what I would say are cherry blossoms. Obviously it has a very colorful ribbon. I'm going to make sure that my bee knocker shows through, which again, I will include a link to the bee knocker. Those are so cool. Made very, very well. These will last forever. Little pricey, but it will last forever. So really recommend this bee knocker. They have different types of bugs and things that you can get. But this wreath really gives a big splash for the spring, and I just absolutely love it. Now, I get my wreaths from John Mark's Enterprise. They're in Tennessee. You can Google that. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but I just think that they make the highest quality wreaths. They do come with a price. So this is an investment that I'll use over and over again. So you'll definitely want to protect it when you take it down. But gosh, I have a couple different wreaths from John Mark's Enterprise, and they just make a big splash and a big statement. And I just get tons of compliments from anyone that stops by. Even solicitors, when they come and knock on the door, they're like, oh my God, where did you get that wreath? So just really love these. So we're done with the wreath. And while we're out here, just an update on the front porch. You can see my petunias in these big pots right as you come to the front entrance are doing an amazing job. I did have a bird that tried to nest on the side of this one, so I kind of shoot away the bird before it laid its eggs. Eggs in a potted plant like this and trying to water don't mix well, so I was glad I was able to catch that early. These are the impatiens that I planted the other day. They're really starting to fill in and starting to bloom. And then of course those are actually fake flowers. So silk flowers, I have those down lower because of the wild animals that love to eat stuff. They leave the silk flowers alone. And then of course there is my wreath with a splash of color for the spring. So I think everything is looking really good here at the front entry. So now I'm gonna head over to the back and start potting up the pots by the gazebo. So this is the main gazebo seating area, and you can see right here I have a couple of pots. This one kind of sits back in the corner and gets minimal sun. I think the impatiens are going to do fantastic there. And then this one tends to get a lot of afternoon sun. I think the African daisies that I have planned for this pot are going to do incredible as well. So I'm going to grab those and we'll start to get those planted up. All right, so I have my impatiens. These are 6-packs, and these are really healthy looking. So I'm just gonna plop them out of their temporary pots and put them in their permanent pots. Again, this area, even though it's on the side of the house that gets a lot of afternoon sun, it's kind of protected in this area. So it just gets a lot of shade, and impatiens tend to like shade. So these should do really, really well here. I am gonna really pack up this pot with different colors of impatiens, so it'll be nice and full. So I have 6 in so far. I think I'm going to put another 2 or 3 in, probably 2, and it will just really fill in and look awesome. I am trying to go in with different colors. These are kind of a pink and an orange color. That's it. I think it has filled up this pot nicely. These will expand outwards and upwards and will just look beautiful in this pot. So now let's get these African daisies potted. Now these daisies have gone through a bloom cycle. There's a lot of blooms are ready to open, but I think what I'm going to do, just to give this plant a head start, notice I have my bag here with all of my garden tools. I'm going to just come in and I'm going to cut off these spent flowers. Now these African daisies are annuals. They're mounting annuals, so they'll continue to grow and kind of spread out, and they're hardy to 32 degrees. They do prefer full sun, so it's going to get a lot of sun, definitely afternoon sun. So these should do really well here. I do have 4 of these for this pot. They're all this purplish color. And with the other things going on here, the mixed colors, the geranium, I think these will look really nice. I use my empty container here for my spent flowers that I am about to trim off this next one. Now when you purchase these, it's always nice to pick up one that's in full bloom, but just realize that it's eventually going to be at the end of its bloom cycle. This is going to bloom all summer long, so it's just going through a cycle change, but it will come back with a vengeance, especially with me cutting off these dead flowers, and then also getting it potted and fertilized is just going to be a big help. Now I am kind of evenly spacing these apart, so I'll put another one here and another one here. Sometimes I get 5 for these pots. I don't think that'll be necessary because these are going to grow outward and upward, so I think it'll fill in nicely. But if you wanted, you could add a 5th in the center. All right, so I have my 4 African daisies planted. I have some little ivies that I have not planted yet. I thought it would look nice, maybe with some ivy in here that's kind of trailing down the side of the pot just to give it some more interest. I'm gonna go grab 1 or 2 of those and see what they look like. All right, so I have a piece of ivy that I trimmed from elsewhere in the yard that I've had inside rooting. It's just got some very, very small roots on it. I'm gonna go ahead and plant this up. I have found that I can stick these in dirt as long as I keep it semi-moist. It's gonna root and take off. So I'm going to plant that in here, and then I'm going to twist this pot around a little bit and plant this ivy, and I think it will just give it some additional interest and will look nice hanging down off the side of the pot. Now, as this grows, I can take some clippings and disperse them around the pot, and by June, this will just look fantastic. And then I'm going to take my other piece of ivy and just put it in right next door to me here. And that's it for this pot. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. So next, not on the agenda, but I'm gonna do it today. The other day I was at Sam's Club and did a video there, and I purchased up some new cushions for these chairs. I noticed when I was cleaning this up, when Aiden's mom and dad were about to visit, that the material on the cushions has dry rotted, and the cushions themselves are not full of life anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these cushions. The ones that I'm gonna show you that I got from Sam's are a little plain Jane. They're kind of a beigey color, but I can liven up that with some colorful pillows. So let me grab those, show you what I have, and we'll get these cushions replaced on these chairs. Now, here's the cushions I'm replacing. When I picked these up to vacuum them, the material is just ripping apart, and then the inserts is very dusty. It's starting to disintegrate. So it's just time to replace these. And it just so happens that Saturday is bulk pickup. So I can put these out at the end of the curb and the garbage man will take them. These I cannot donate because they're in bad shape. Now here's the cushions that I picked up. These are deep seating cushions. They're the Members Mark brand. And they're kind of oversized for chairs like this. Now again, wasn't super crazy about the tan color. They have blue, but I didn't want blue because they have blue on the couch over there. So I definitely wanted to go with the tan, and I thought that I could just use pillows to give it some bright color. Now, these were a little expensive. This is two pieces connected. It's the seats and the backing. It was, I think, around $85, which was a little pricey, but I expect these to last a long time. But I also, for $9, bought the extended warranty, the Allstate warranty. I've had a lot of luck with those warranties. So if something happens to this in the next 5 years, I can just get reimbursed for it. So that's my plan. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted, but this will fit very nicely down into this chair. At first I was like, I don't know that I like the back attached to it, but it can't blow away. And I can just take a colorful pillow, put it in the corner, and it gives it some life. Now I can change out these pillows with pillow covers if I want to do something a little bit different, but I think this green works just fine for right now. So let me know what you think in the comments. I think this was all in a good deal. Really happy I bought the extended warranty for 5 years. Now the thing about the extended warranties is don't forget, don't lose your paperwork, because I think they're kind of banking that you will forget and lose the paperwork, but I'm not going to. So this is what the seating area looks like with the new pillows. That's the blue I was talking about. So I think the beige goes with the blue. I think the green pillow gives it a little bit more color, a little bit more life. Love my bee pillow. So I think this is made for a very nice seating area. And of course, here's my potted up plants. So the impatiens should do really well in this corner, and my African daisies with the ivy should really take off. I'll keep you posted in future videos on how these are doing and everything else that I've planted. But now it's time to take the desert roses out. So I have a lot of smaller desert roses, and I normally just really pack up this area of the bar outside with them. We don't really use this side of the bar too much, so it's great to seat plants, and I'm excited to start bringing them out. Here's one house packed with desert roses. I have this shelving unit back here that just has a bunch of little babies. They're all dormant. The leaves are rather dry on them. I'll knock those off as I'm bringing them out. But these will look really nice on the bar. I do have a lot of replanting of these desert roses. Some of these are in their pots that they actually grew up in, and it's time to get them transplanted to a more long-term pot. But we'll worry about that here in the next couple of days. Right now, I just want to get these out of the greenhouse. I'll tell you what, it is hot in this greenhouse for a hoodie, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here because I'm going to get these out. Now, some of these are definitely a tad dehydrated, so I'm going to have to, probably tomorrow morning, I'll come out here and give these just a little tiny sip of water, since they barely have any new growth on them. And then once they start to get leaves, I'll give them a really healthy drink. But some of the caudaxes on these are looking a little rough. They typically swell back up once they get their leaves and the watering resumes. I'm going to take off these dried leaves, and I'll come out with my shop vac and my little attachment and get the leaves out of the rocky areas in these pots. But these are definitely starting to sprout out, so they know it's spring. And then these typically sit out here all summer long. And will bloom and just look amazing. Do you think I have too many? I do. So this is the first bunch that's out. I'm going to continue working on these. And then in the next video, I'll kind of show you how I have everything set up. There's a lot of cleanup that I have to do with getting some of the spent leaves off. I see some of these have some spider mites, which typically happens in overwintering, but what I found is that I don't really need to treat them. Once I kind of spray these off with the hose, that kind of cares for that, but I'll watch these really close and we'll have no problem treating them if that's what I need to do. But I try to use those treatments sparingly and only when absolutely necessary. So with that, I think I'm gonna call it quits for the videoing today. I hope you enjoyed everything. If you haven't subscribed already, I would certainly welcome you to subscribe. Certainly helps out my small channel. Love the comments and suggestions. Please keep those coming. And just thanks for watching, everybody.